everyone, it is Jana, and I am so excited to share with you about albums and wall drops. So if you can see this, let me know so I know I'm in the right place. Anyway, I'm super excited. I want to share with you about albums because it has been a great blessing to my business and has just given me another way and another just avenue to connect with my customers. So a little bit of background about me. I have to have things just work differently for me. So I'm a homeschooling mama of 6. My youngest is almost 10 months old, and so my husband works nights, and so right now that means that he gets home about 4 in the morning. So that cuts out all of my parties. It cuts out on a lot of events I was doing. So I've kind of had to rethink things, and so it was huge when we got the green light to go ahead and start doing live sales and album sales. And so one thing that's been a huge hit with my customers and just my lifestyle, things are always crazy. It's a circus here. And so anyway, that's another story. But one thing that's just been a huge blessing to my business are album sales. And so I hope tonight that I can break it down for you and we can really come up with some great ideas together. I hope you brought a pen and paper so you can take notes. It is going to be pretty meaty, but I know you can handle it. And the main thing is to just do it, okay? You can always revisit this video. You can always revisit your notes. You can always make things better, right? But you're not going to know what works for you if you never get out there and do it. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Okay, so I don't do live sales so much. I've done a couple, and really the best ones I've done were more themed, like where I just did pairs of U-pins, or I just did swerves or something like that. But I just don't have the oomph to, personally sit through a live video to make purchases. So I would rather shop an album and say, I want this one and this one and this one. So that's kind of what I've done for my business. So if you do live sales, that is awesome. In the live sales I've done, I always follow it up with an album, either when the live sale is done or the next day. So this can totally be used to pair multiple things. Okay, it doesn't have to be one and then that's it. So it's a great avenue to keep your sales up, to connect with your customers when things are crazy. One time I had the flu. I literally had the flu, but I had these pictures that I had taken of the clips, and so I literally shared them, and I sold a couple of $100s when I obviously could not go live. I felt terrible, but I was just kind of laid up in bed, and so I was still making money, connecting with my customers and showing them some cool product. So one thing I want you to know is you do not have to have inventory to have albums, okay? So keep an open mind, and hopefully you guys can see where I'm going with this. So I want you to think outside the box, and so the very first thing that I want you to do when you think of either album sales or wall drops, I do both. Album sales, I really like to have either a theme or I'll title it something specific like September's Spectacular, whatever, So I kind of theme my albums, whereas my wall drops may not have any theme. Wall drop is just basically a photo, a picture, a clip, something, and you post it on your either your business page or your group, and people can claim it right then and there. It's not posted in an album, it's just one post. So sometimes I will just post a picture, let's just say the honeybee. I'll post a picture of that and say, the sunflowers are gorgeous. Here's a honeybee. These are the sizes and the prices. And so people will just comment on that. It's not in an album. It's just a post. Now, you can see that I just put the prices and I want to include the shipping price also. But one thing to know is when I did it that way, I don't necessarily have to have the product on hand. So they can claim that size, and then I'll go order it and I'll have it shipped to them, right? So they don't necessarily know I don't have it on hand. They're just ordering it straight from me instead of having to visit the website. So, okay, so step number 1. All right, we're talking mostly albums here, but you can do the same thing with wall drops. Okay, wall drop again is you're just posting it straight to your business page or your group. So think of a theme. Okay, so what are some themes that we could do? So we're starting to get into fall and autumn. So we could do kind of fall colored products. We could split it up into categories, like we could just do beaded U-pens and just do an album of beaded U-pens. We can just do an album of exclusive items. Sometimes if I just have one item left in stock, I say, okay, I have one left, and I'll actually put it on the graphic, one left. You could do something for pet lovers and include the paw prints. You could include, anything, the sticks that have the paw print on them, the kitty cat, anything like that for pet lovers. You could do nature lovers or gardeners and have the ladybugs and the butterflies and things like that, okay? So pick a theme. You could also do limited. I also did an album for product that I picked up when I went to regionals in Wisconsin, and those sold really well. I let them know it's one of a kind. This is it. I can't get any more. So that was kind of the theme of that album. So once you've chosen a theme, then you're going to decide if you're going to take your own photos. So we've got some great options because there's now the Hair Photos group for Lola Rose Stylists. It's on Facebook. If you don't know about that group, it's a great tool to have. So I recommend that you find that group. It's called Hair Photos for Lola Rose Stylists. And we want like professional, really nice, clear photos. So if you have some of those that you've taken, add those, and we can all use them and benefit from them. So I like to take my own photos. You do not have to. It is not a requirement. If you decide to take your own photos, I sometimes will just use a piece of black poster board as my backer. Sometimes I'll use a piece of wood. I mean, it really just depends on how I'm feeling that day. And really, I want to do that whole album or that whole set of photos on the same background. It just goes so much better. I don't know why, but it just makes it look so much more fluid. So if you're going to use like a piece of black cardboard or something like that, then just use that for all your photos in that group, and it'll just make it look nice and neat. I take them on my porch in the shade, and the best time is in the evening when the sun's getting ready to go down. The lighting is just perfect. You don't get shadows and things like that. So I do like to take my own photos, and then I will usually put on the graphic. I will put something like last one, only one left, or I will put, exclusive, or I'll put limited, or something like that. You do not have to. You don't even have to take your own photos. If you want to grab the photos from the website and use those, you can do that too. Don't get hung up on one of these steps, okay? Just do it, and then you can figure out after this time how you can improve or what you want to change and do differently. So you're going to decide if you're going to take your own photos. You can use the Hair Photos for Lola Rose Stylist photos. Some of them have product only, and some of them have hair pictures, and some of them I will mix and match. So let's take the honeybee. I might take a picture of it in hair and make a graphic of just the clip also, just to give it kind of a different effect. And again, I won't do that for all of my albums, but sometimes I do like to show it in hair. Okay, so now that we've decided if we're going to take our own photos or use the Lola Rose photos, we are going to decide whether we're going to make an album or whether we are going to just post them as wall drops. So that's totally up to you. I will tell you that 100% of the time, my group gets first dibs. So my group of customers, will always get first dibs on everything. It's a promise that I made to them. It's one of the perks of joining my group, is that you get first dibs and sneak peeks on everything. So anytime I do wall drops or an album, my group gets to see it first. I always post it in my group first. And it'll either be in an album or wall drops. And then usually the next day, I'll post it on my page. You don't have to do it that way. Just that's one of the perks that I sell to my customers. And a lot of times they'll buy the majority of the clips, and it saves me from having to post them in 2 different places. So, all right. So if you're going to do wall drops, don't post 30 pictures at one time. Post 2 or 3 and then walk away, go get something to eat, take a break, come back, post 2 or 3, because you don't want it flagged as spam for sure. That's not good. You don't want your customers to be overwhelmed where they're just seeing post after post after post. So just be mindful of that. I usually post a couple, and then I'll go do something, and then I'll come back and post a couple, and then before bed I might post a couple more. So that is kind of how I do wall drops. So if I'm doing an album, I create the album and I upload all the photos right then and there. So for an album, I want to actually tell you how to create an album so that you know. So you can upload all your photos all at once, and then you can go back and edit your captions. For the captions, I like to put the price. I put a description. Sometimes I take the description off of the Lola Rose website, and then sometimes I'll ask my kids how they would describe it, and just get funny. But anyway, so in the caption, I'll have the price, the description, and the sizes that I have available on hand. And then if you're doing a group, so if you're going to do your group first, you'll go to your group and you'll click albums, and then you're going to click up at the top, create album. And then you'll see it. You can name it whatever you want. Whatever you name it, your customers and your group members will see. So it's not, a name just for you. It's everyone will be able to see the name of your album. So from a computer, you're going to go to your group. You will click photos, and then you'll click create album. So that's pretty self-explanatory, just like 2 steps. And then you can put a description for the entire album. I do like to do that. I just let people know these are limited. It's all I have. So then from a page, it's the same whether you're mobile or from a computer. You will just click from your business page, you'll click photos, and then you'll click create album. And then you can upload all of your photos, in one swoop. Just, you can upload a whole lot at one time. And so you can do that. Come up with a catchy name. Come up with a catchy title. If I only have one, I think I titled it like One and Only or something like that. Just something short, something catchy. If you're doing a theme like fall, you could call it, Fabulously Fall or something like that. So let me know like what themes and what catchy titles and things are coming to your mind. Maybe that'll get my juices flowing. So make sure that you include the size and the price. And then if you're doing an album, put in the album description, $4 shipping. And then if you plan to charge tax, kind of how much that would be. So I put that in the album description so everybody can see that. Now, the next couple steps, I want you to think ahead. If you've never done an album sale or business like this, if you've never worked an event, if you're not quite sure how to take payment, I just want you to stop for a second and think ahead. Because as people claim your clips, you're going to need a way to process that payment. I personally offer Square or PayPal. Those are the 2 options that I offer. And just think ahead. I invoice my customers, and so you can decide. If you only use one, then note that in your description. Invoices will be sent via PayPal, within 24 hours or something. And now I'm going to give you a bonus step. You do not have to do this. But it is just a bonus. And starting out, you may want to do your first one and just see how it goes. That's perfectly fine. I've been doing this for a little while now, so every time I do it, I change something and get a little bit better. But it's come to, I make several $100s. I sell several $100s per month in just album sales, which I really don't spend a whole lot of time on. I can do it while I'm, getting ready for bed. I can make my captions and things like that. So it's not very labor intensive. I guess the most labor intensive part would be taking photos, because I have a photojournalism major, so taking the photos myself is something that I enjoy. So it's not a burden, not something you have to do on your own though. So this is your bonus, okay? You do not have to do this, but it is a free service that is open to everyone. It's super simple to use. And so I want to share it with you and just get your juices flowing. Again, don't let this bonus extra step hold you back. If you feel intimidated by it, skip it. You can always go back and add it later. So the bonus is that I create a Google form for those that claim an item. And sometimes I'll even put it in my album description. If you claim an item, go ahead and fill out this form so I can get your invoice to you and get your goodies on their way quickly. I use the same link, the same Google form for every album and every wall drop. For anybody that purchases from me off my Facebook or social media, I use the same form. So you just have to set it up one time and then you're good to go. So if they claim an item, I will often comment below their item. I'll reply with, hey, fill out this quick form so I can get your stuff on the way. So this is what is in my Google form. It's really super simple. If you've never used Google Forms, it's free. It's really, really simple to set up. It's pretty self-explanatory. So my questions for my Google form, I tell them, thank you for shopping with me and congratulations on your purchase. And then I ask for their email address. I will need that in order to invoice them. I have a true or false that says I understand that invoices must be paid within 24 hours. I ask, how would you like to be invoiced? And I put multiple choice. Would you like PayPal? Some people are PayPal only. They only do PayPal. They don't want to go get their wallet or whatever. They will only do PayPal, and that's fine. So I give them that option. So I say, how do you want to be invoiced? Option A, PayPal. Option B, Square. And option C is my choice. So a lot of times I will choose Square because I get, when I have referrals and things like that, I get free processing. So I prefer Square. So I do ask them how they prefer to be invoiced. Then I ask them their full name, their complete shipping address. So I want their street address with their city and state and zip code. I want their phone number. And then I ask some questions here to plant some seeds. And I say, would you like a text message for the next sale? And I mean, I've really been surprised at how many people say, yes, send me a text message the next time there's a sale. Then I ask, do you have a different Lila Rose stylist? Because it is possible if they're shopping albums that they are a registered customer for someone else. I really haven't had that happen a whole lot, but I like to know going into it, where our relationship stands. And then I ask, have you considered hosting your own, hairdo how-to? And I have multiple choice. So it's like, yes, I can't wait. I don't really like to have fun and party, something like that. I make it to where it's funny, but I want them to commit because obviously I want them to have a party and I want them to take the next step with me. And then I also ask them, have you ever considered the business opportunity, or have you ever considered how Lila Rose could help you change your financial situation? You can really word it however is, your personality. Use your personality. Use words that you would use in person. If your words aren't my words, then use your words. Your words are better for you. But I do ask if they've ever considered the business opportunity, and that's it. So it's just, let's see, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's just 10 things, just 10 questions, but a lot of that is getting their shipping address, their email address, and things like that. So that's not real meaty. And like I said, it just takes a few minutes. Once you have it set up, it's set up for good. And then you can keep the responses, and when a sale comes, you can go back and look at that form and find the people that said yes, they wanted a text message, and just shoot them a quick text message when we have a sale. Okay, so we've thought ahead about payment, how we're going to accept payment, and we have thought whether or not we want to do the Google form. Starting out, you do not have to do it. And so then the next thing I want you to think about is shipping. How will you ship? What kind of supplies do you need to ship? I use the Little Rose bubble mailers because they're just fun, and I keep them when I get them in the mail, but I do this quite a bit. I mail out quite a bit of product, so I also do purchase them from our back office. So just think ahead, okay? What do you need to ship? Again, have 6 children. I am allergic to going to the post office and waiting in line. I just cannot handle it. It's just not my favorite activity. So I use paypal.com/shipnow. You have to type it in just like that, or you cannot use it. paypal.com/shipnow. So if you type that into your browser, it'll bring up information for you to literally just enter their name, their address, their email address. Again, if you like going to the post office, or you often find yourself on that side of town, then this won't really apply to you. But I want you to just think, how are you going to ship the items out? This way, I print my labels from home. I used to just print out on a blank piece of computer paper, and I would literally use like regular tape, like just regular tape that you would wrap gifts with. And I would just tape that piece of paper onto my mailer, and I would go stick it in my mailbox outside my house. I use a really cheap food scale. I'm talking like Walmart, just really cheap food scale. It was just a couple dollars, and I've used it for several years now. And you need something like a food scale that will give you ounces, because when you're mailing clips and things, you're talking about 2 to 5 ounces, something like that. So you need to know the ounces to enter it in if you're going to ship from home. It doesn't matter how you ship. Just think ahead as you're working through the process, and just kind of have something in mind. You can always change it if you don't like the way that you do it in the beginning, but I just want you to know, if people claim your items, you're going to have to ship them. And also on that note, think ahead. Will you allow local pickup? And this is one thing I really struggle with, because I hate charging people shipping, but at the same time, if I'm driving all over town, handing out all this product, it takes away time from my family and gas and just, burning up the road. And I do not have time right now to do that. So I require local pickup to either be, if you're someone that I see on a weekly basis, like I see you already either at church or my homeschool group, then I'll just bring it to you. It's not out of the way. You're right there. I don't mind. Other than that, it is porch pickup. You have to come to my house, and I live like 15 minutes from town, so it's not super far, but that's not really convenient either for a lot of my customers. And so I'm just up front. If you choose porch pickup, it is literally from my porch. Excuse me. So even if you're local, I cannot drive all over town to meet people. I just don't have the time, and I don't feel like it's a wise use of my time in this season of life. So if you love to go and pass out clips all over town, that's fine for you. But I want you to think ahead. If you have all of these local people and local friends claiming your clips and saying, well, can you just meet me here, and can you just meet me here? Okay, say you have 5 people, and now you're going to be making 5 trips to town, meeting at different places. Just consider that. Maybe you could have just one meeting place, and they all come within a 30-minute to an hour pickup time, whatever you decide. But just think ahead and just be prepared for those locals that You're not going to want to charge shipping. They're not necessarily going to want to pay shipping. So I just ask my local customers, when they claim an item, I will send them a message and say, would you like me to ship this for you for $4, or would you like to pick it up from my house? And they know that now, and so it's not a big deal. And I know, some ladies will always say ship. And then some ladies, they drive, near my house after work every day, and so they don't mind coming and picking it up. But anyway, they know that. And so also, so with your shipping, you want to think ahead. Do you have bubble mailers? Do you have thank you cards? Do you have business cards? What do you want to put in that package? Do you want to put a small catalog? Just think ahead. And keep in mind that all this is fluid. So you can always change it up. You can always get better. If something isn't working, switch it up. You're not committed or married to these decisions. The main thing is that you get out there and do it. And I just want to put in one more word for people that do not carry a lot of inventory. Okay, you do not have to have inventory to make this work. Okay, you don't, because even if I do have quite a bit of inventory, especially going into the fall, I work a lot of events in the fall. But I can also create an album of items, like even just say flowers. Okay, so let's take, we'd have our Flexi of the Month Chrissy. We could have the Sunflower U-Pens. We could have the Tiger Lily and Floressa, all kinds of florals. And we could come up with a super cool, catchy name, florals for fall, or, whatever. And so we could create an album, use photos either from the hair photos for Lila Rose Silas Group, or use the photos from the website. We're just going to save them, then we're going to upload them to an album. And again, in the description, we're going to put the prices, of each size, what we can get in, how much shipping is. And then if I don't have that in stock, then I will just order it and have it sent straight to them. Now, if you're going to do that, it's best really to do it if you've got like a party link, or if they're already a customer. You can create an account for them. Just let them know, like, hey, I'm doing this account for you. I think though there might be, I was looking at this the other day, there might be a way to shop as a guest. But I just want to encourage you, you do not have to have the items on hand in order to ship them out. And if you end up having a lot of locals say, oh, I want this and this and this and this and this, then you can just place one order in the back office for you, and then, hand those out to your local customers, or however you want to handle local pickup. But that way, you're able to expand the product base that you're offering to your customers without, the upfront investment of buying all these clips. And I will caution you, just be mindful of payments. I really prefer to get my payments up front, because you just don't know. People get busy, people lose excitement, they change their mind. Well, now I just ordered 7 clips for them, so now what? Now I've got to find another buyer. So in instances like that, just make sure that you invoice fairly quickly, and once they pay their invoice, then you can place the order. So don't get ahead of yourself and order everything without the invoices being paid, because we certainly don't want you to lose money on a deal and then have clips on hand that you really purchased for someone else. So if anybody has any questions, I am up for it. I know that was a lot of information. Y'all would be so proud. I have notes. I never have notes. I always just go straight off the cuff. Always. I just work better that way. But I actually made notes because I didn't want to leave out any steps. I wanted you guys to really leave equipped, and I wanted you to be able to just revisit this, and if you missed anything, get the information that you needed out of it. So I hope that was helpful. If you have questions though, you can always comment below, and I will come back and revisit those. But the main thing is, don't let fear of uncertainty and things like that hold you back. You guys just need to go and try it. just go try it. And then, I mean, you're never going to be successful if you just wonder, right? So just go do it. I do have people that like to purchase out of my albums, but it's kind of a mix of people. And so it's not always the same people that come back. Sometimes it'll just be people just out of the blue. I'll have a couple people out of the blue claim things, that haven't bought from me in like 2 years. And so it's not always the same people, but they know, especially my group, they know they get first dibs. And I tell them, you have a limited time to claim this because I'm going to be offering it to the public tomorrow. And so if there's something that I really think one person would like, I'll be sure and tag them or shoot them a message and say, I've got this on hand. I don't know how active, I would not say my group is super, super active. I do post on there daily. Thank you, ScentShare. So it will absolutely work for small groups. It will work for any size group. The main thing is that you're connecting with your customers. And this is just another way to do that, rather than an engagement post. We're doing something like an album and giving them first dibs on things. I don't know how many people are in my group right now. I'm going to say 150 to 200. I really don't know. How many is in my group? I don't know. Is that something I should know? I don't know. But I have some people that will purchase from my group, and then I have others that will shop from my page. So, you really don't have to have a big group, and you really don't have to have a huge following. Again, say you sell nothing. You've at least shown product and you've connected with your customers. And ask them, which one do you like? Sometimes I will ask. I posted 2 different Dragonfly clips, and I just said, which one do you like better? And then, of course, people are like, oh, do you have this one? Can I buy this one? It's like, well, that's the only one I have. So, you can do things like that, too, where you're getting a lot more interaction. And then a lot of times you'll get that one person that says, well, can I just buy that? I didn't see it on your website. Sure, you can buy that. So once my album is posted in my group, once whatever is claimed, so sometimes here's like a little sneaky trick. I will take one of the clips that sold and I will edit that photo or edit the caption to put sold, because I want people on my page to see that other people are buying these. This is no longer available because it already sold, and they don't need to know, when or how or where or whatever it sold. But I will put a couple of those in. I'll either edit the graphic to put sold across the clip, or I'll simply edit the caption above and just put this one is sold. And I feel like that creates excitement. People are seeing, wow, other people are buying these. What am I missing out on? And then I also put all the time, every time I will put, people in my group got first dibs. So, if you want first dibs, talk to me about how you can get in my group. So once it has been shared in my group and I'm now ready to post it on my public page, I upload the whole thing again. There's no way to share it because my group is private. I like it that way. I want ladies to feel comfortable sharing, issues they're having or their hair selfies, and I don't really love sharing things like that in public groups. I would rather that just be between that group of people. So my group is closed, private, whatever, invitation only. And then I literally just repeat the process for posting it to my page. But what I will do is just copy and paste the text, and then it's not so bad. So I'm not having to recreate the wheel, but it does take a few minutes because I've got to upload all the pictures again and everything. So that's how I upload it to the public. And like I said, this is for the amount of effort I put in. It does take time to ship. It does take time to package and weigh. Not a whole lot of time, but it does add up. And it's worth it for me because I can pack after my kids go to bed. I don't have to make a trip to the post office. And, it gets me a couple $100 of sales every month. And so to me, it's worth it. You may find that you're doing an album, and I would encourage you, do not do an album with all of your clips. Choose a theme, choose something. And just, if I do wall drops, I keep it below 10, around about there. If I am doing an album, I mean, you really don't want to, overwhelm and overrun. So I guess the biggest album I did was when I got back from Wisconsin. I had all these one-of-a-kind clips from regionals, and I did take pictures of all of those and uploaded them into one album, but I sold $300 worth of those clips like in 24 hours. So of course it was totally worth it, and people knew it's one of a kind. So I would say less is more on how many you're gonna include. Maybe start with 10. If you're doing like a theme, like we talked about, like a flowery, floral fall, something like that, I would just do maybe 10. You don't need a ton, and you could do several albums a month. I usually do like wall drops once a month, and then I'll do an album or something once a month. Really, it's just depending on how crazy my life is that month. But I will see that, okay, I need some money. And so I will go. My answer to that is, well, I have no sales this month. I've got nothing going on this week. So I'm going to do an album sale. And so I take the lull. And that's when I do that. When I've got nothing on the books, or I look around and take a breath, and it's like, life is crazy, but I just looked up and I don't have anything going on right now. So I can at least do an album. So anyway, so really you can troubleshoot and decide how many you want to do in an album. If you're doing wall drops, obviously you don't want to hit your wall with 30 pictures. So a wall drop is where you're just posting that picture of one clip to your business page or your group. You're not posting an album, you're just posting a picture of, say, Floressa with the price and the size. That is a wall drop. It's just one picture of that clip, and they can claim it. So I don't really take my albums down. After the fun and the newness wears off, people, they just kind of get, pushed aside. Like, people just don't really go back and look at that. So I don't really bother to take them down. Except in my group, I do let them know, hey, this is your last chance. I am uploading these to my public page tonight. And then sometimes I will go and I'll get a couple of extra orders from my group because they're like, I forgot to look at that yesterday. So that's kind of the difference. I would not do a ton, Again, if you're doing wall drops, I would say less than 10. We're talking like 6. If you're doing an album, I think you could get away with, 15 or so. But I would not overrun it, because people are, they just want something quick. That's the whole reason they're not going to your website, because they just want to look really quick. They don't want to flip through a whole bunch of photos. So I have done last chance. If I have Flexi of the months from past months, I'll put that. I do last ones. It's the last one in my inventory. I will do that as an album. One and onlys that I got from regionals. Really just anything. Just anything. You could do wedding. If you're going to do fall weddings, then you could do a fall wedding album, not necessarily for the bride, but for people that want to look a little bit classier, a little bit more dressed up, but with something that they can use on days other than just that one day for the wedding. So you guys are coming up with some great ideas. And again, you can also do just a product type. So I've also done just U-pens. I did one with just U-pen pairs. You can do one with just beaded swerves. You could do, just black or pearly, kind of clips. So All right, well, if you guys have any more questions, you can post it in the comments and I will come back and answer those. So I think that like a Western and Celtic, I think those are great themes. I just really encourage you, think outside the box, but don't get carried away. Just do it. Just do it. And then once you do it and you get a feel for it, you can always change. You can say, did it work? Did it not? It's not solidified. We're not talking concrete here. We're talking about a business that is so fluid. We have so many options. It's just such a blessing to be able to sell on social media now. And again, it's just a way for me to connect to my customers. I do put a thank you note, in everyone, a handwritten thank you note, because I do really appreciate their business and they're taking the time to connect with me on social media, and to shop with me as well. So anyway, well, thank you guys for joining me. I hope that was helpful. I hope that you will come back and let us know when you have posted an album. So whether you've never done one before or you do them all the time, come back and tell us when you post another one. So hopefully in the next week or two, you guys have it on your calendar now to post an album or to get some wall drops going, and come back and just share with us that you did it and we can cheer you on. I love that about Lola Rosales, how we are always cheering each other on. So anyway, have a fabulous night, guys. Bye.